I'm. What we're doing now is I'm going to be giving a very brief testimony of. I'm sorry, I'm very out of breath. So out of shape. Okay. So I'm going to be giving a brief testimony of how a nice Jewish girl like me who went to yeshiva and speaks Hebrew kept kosher. And here I am celebrating Yeshua HaMashiach. I mean, it just hit me when I was doing the Horah. It's like if they could see me now. Like, truly. All right, I have to look at the clock because I can get very carried away with a microphone. So I'm gonna stick to what I have here. A stand? Oh, I got a stand. Father, I just want to pray right now that you would speak through me, that I would get out of my way and make it Yahweh. Hallelujah. He just gave me that. Isn't that cool? That was him. That wasn't me. That was him. He must be showing up now. I need him. Okay, so I'm going to start with these. I really can't see the clock, so someone tell me when I'm at 8 minutes, okay? Take 10. I really get 10, but Grant's not here. I'm going to take 20. No, I'm just kidding. So these two scriptures are what I'm going to be basing my testimony on from Romans 1. Again, I ask, did they stumble so as to fall beyond recovery? The Jewish people they're talking about. Not at all. Rather, because of their transgression, salvation has come to the Gentiles to make Israel envious. Well, that's how I came in. I was drawn by jealousy. And the second was Romans 10:14. How can they believe in him if they have not heard his message? No one ever told me. So just gotta tell people. All right. So I was brought up in an Orthodox home. Shomer Shabbos. I went to yeshiva. We did not drive on the Sabbath. We did not turn on the lights on the Sabbath. We kept kosher. We separated our milk and our meat. We walked to synagogue. I spoke Hebrew fluently by the time I was in. Well, I thought I was fluent in Hebrew till I went to Israel. I talk fast there. So, but I grew up with the language. But mostly, what I grew up with was memorizing the Torah. I could read it in Hebrew. I couldn't tell you what I was reading. We never spoke about God. It was ritualistic. It was tradition. It was empty. And then, so I was Orthodox till about 12, 13-ish. And then we started moving more into a conservative lifestyle, which means we could go to McDonald's. And it took me a long time before I had the hamburger. First it was, okay, I'll start with the fish, the fillet of fish. And then it was, oh my God, the hamburger. And then it was the cheeseburger. And then by the time I was, and that was pretty much how we lived our life. We no longer walked to synagogue, we drove. We didn't even have to hide our car. We just drove right in the parking lot. And so, but by the time, when I was 16, my parents got divorced. And two things that came out of it is, one, my brothers and I were like, we don't have to go to temple anymore, because it was empty. There was nothing. There was no youth group. There was no worship. It was just a ritualistic, traditional lifestyle. And that is also when I began my partying days. So, what do you do when you don't have God and your family splits up? What do you do? You know what you do. Well, that's what I did. And so after a while in that lifestyle, I went into a program for addiction. If any of you are familiar with a 12-step program, which introduced me to higher power. Not now, up until now, at 28 years old, no one told me about God. I was an Orthodox Jew. I didn't know about God. But I started learning the program is based on spiritual Christian principles. And basically, it's like, I can't, he can, I'll let him. That's what it was. And so I got involved in that and started walking on a spiritual life. A little while after that, I met a woman, and there was something very different about her. She just, you just know. And so she just had love and joy and peace. And she just flowed very differently to everyone else. And I said, what do you got? I want what you have. She says, I have Yeshua HaMashiach. I said, I got to go now. I'm Jewish. I can't. I just can't. But thanks for sharing. And then a little, like, I'm Jewish. I can't. A little, like, it's okay to be a Buddhist. It's okay to, be a yogi. But, you can't know about Yeshua HaMashiach. No. So a little while after that, I continued in this 12-step program. And I was on a retreat. This is when I was living in Southern California. And I read this book. I picked up this book, and I started reading the Sermon on the Mount. The blessed are the peacemakers, and and the meek and the humble. And the first time in my life, something really made sense to me. And I kept reading, and I saw it was written by Jesus. I shut the book. I said, oh my God, I'm in trouble. Because I knew something happened, but I knew I couldn't know Jesus. But that was more seeds planted, seed planted. And really nothing happened. And I continued in my spiritual journey in the 12-step program, moved back to New Jersey, and I became hungry. I was just hungry. There was something missing. And that's when it happened. I was at a 7-Eleven. It was actually a Wawa, but I don't know if any of you know. Okay. And there was a woman at the register, and she had that thing again that I saw in that other woman. I said, what do you have? Thinking maybe it's something different. She goes, I have Jesus. I said, oh, I'm ready. I want what you have. And then a little while after that, I was walking by, and this is where I was drawn to jealousy. We just have to shine. We just have to shine. I walked by, I was going to get my hair done, and I walked by a room. It was like in a storefront, and I heard laughter and joy, and I was drawn to it. And I stuck my head in. I'm like, what's going on here? And there were 20 women. There was just a glow in the room. They're it's just I wanted a part of that. I wanted that. So what's going on? They said, it's a Bible study. So I want to be in the Bible study. And then a little while after that, so, I started creeping into church. Not both feet in, but kind of creeping in. That was, okay. So then I met this woman who looked at me. She was actually a counselor. And I went to see her because I was doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing. And she looked at me. And the second that she looked at me, I felt the love of God. For the first, I'm like, oh my God. She goes, well, let me tell you something. Everything you're doing, he knows. He's not angry. He loves you. He wants the best for you. And he's sad that his daughter is putting herself in harm's way. Woo! That did it for me. I was just so taken aback. I didn't experience that before, on such a deep level. So now I'm in church. Nice Jewish girl, I'm in church. And I don't know what I am. People are so confused by me. I'm confused by me. What are you? They're like, what are you doing? So I'm like, I think I like Jesus. Yeah. I wasn't Yeshua yet. I'm going to come to that. But I was just I didn't know who I was because, well, what are you? What's your faith? Well, I'm Jewish, Christian, Judaism, Christian, Jew. I like Jesus, but I'm Jewish, so I don't know. That was it. And I stayed in that path for a while until one day, a few years ago, I met this man named Grant Berry. So glad I did. And I started reading his book. And one sentence changed my life. Christianity is an extension of Judaism. The veil lifted. I mean, it was like that. The veil lifted. And I said, I'm Jewish. It's okay to be Jewish. Yeshua HaMashiach. Yeshua HaMashiach. Like, literally, like, I was like, I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish. I'm so Jewish. I'm Jewish. And I'm so honored, and I'm so proud, and I'm so, like, thankful that I know my Jewish roots. And it's like, yeah, I'm like the first one. I was like, I'm born into it. But, I mean, it just took on a complete different life for me. Now, I want to speak to two different elements here, because we're Jew, Gentile, one new man. Okay, people that are in church, I want to tell you something. There are Jewish people in that church. They're there. Okay? I want to tell you something. People knew I was Jewish. All those years I was in church, people knew I was Jewish. My name was Rosenberg, you know. But they knew I was Jewish. Not once did anybody come up to me and say, psst, let me tell you something. They were all Jews. All of them, they were all Jews. Jesus was Jewish. Yeshua HaMashiach was Jewish. Everything that he spoke about was Jewish. Everything that went out was Jewish, 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 Jewish. No one told me. No one told me. So my heart's cry, and then for anyone who in this room is Jewish and, you know, I don't know what's going on now. I want to tell you something. Being Jewish does not mean you need to leave your church. Being Jewish doesn't mean you need to go get a talit and a kippah. You can, if you want. Being Jewish doesn't mean, I need to be kosher. It doesn't mean, what it means is that you have a role. He says he will come back. Every knee will bow. When? When every tongue confesses. That is our role, both believing Jews and both Gentiles. I don't like saying Gentiles, but it's important. Like, no one told me. And I want to tell you something. When I see someone who's Jewish sitting in church, I weep. Like they don't know. We have to tell them. They need to know. I think my time is up, actually. Grant's not here. I got the mic. I'm just kidding. I just, really, my heart really is to tell them, please, I pray for everybody here that they have boldness when they meet someone who's Jewish. Think about it. Think of someone like me. I didn't know all that time. So I hope that some of you got blessed. I'm going to hand it over because I'm up.